Hi and welcome to the Running Channel. I'm Anna and today I'm here to give you as many tips as I can when it comes to having your race cancelled. Now, we know that there are so many runners who have been in a limbo situation over the last few months. Perhaps you were training for a spring race that was postponed to the autumn, and now you found out that that autumn race has also been cancelled. Well, hopefully we can give you plenty of tips in this video for how to reassess and refocus your goals so that you can hit the ground running, no pun intended, when race season returns. We know that coronavirus has had a huge impact on our lives in so many ways. Races is just one of them. So we hope that these tips will help you take the stress out of the situation a bit. If you are new, please do hit the subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you get notified when we upload new videos all about running, which we do every week. We know that all of the uncertainty around cancelled and postponed races over the last few months has been annoying, disappointing and frustrating, and in some cases it must have been quite stressful too, because there's so much planning that goes into entering into a race. It's not just race day that you're thinking of, but there's all of the logistics of your travel, paying for accommodation, perhaps you've lost out on money, and let's not forget the training itself. These are all completely normal feelings to have, but we would challenge you to refocus the energy away from worrying about a decision that's been taken completely out of your hands and instead focus on resetting those goals and finding out what it is that you want to get from your running next. Also, let's not forget that this training has not been in vain. All that incredible fitness that you will have built up if you've been training for a race that's been cancelled, it still counts. You're still a great and strong runner, and it can be taken into the next training block whenever those races do then happen to go ahead. We'd also like to point out that event organisers are only human too. These are incredibly tough times for our running events, and they're the glue that holds us together. We all love to race and we all miss it so much. These decisions aren't being taken lightly. The last thing that event organisers want to do is to cancel your races, and so we would encourage you to be kind in your communications with event organisers if your race has been cancelled, because they're going through an incredibly tough time as well. We're a supportive running community and we always help each other out, so let's make sure we extend that to the people who put on our races so that there are races that we'll be able to come back to when the time is right. Now, we filmed a lot of these tips back in March, so before the peak of the coronavirus pandemic, but when races were starting to be cancelled and postponed. But all these tips will help you move on if you have just found out that your race has been cancelled.
Map a route and run the full distance anyway. You've done all of the hard work in the training, so why not find out whether or not you can actually hit those goals that you set yourself? Treat it like a true race day. Get up at the time that you would have got up, eat what you would have been planning to eat anyway, and set yourself a proper firm start time. Even think about enlisting your friends and family to help you out on the day, either out on the bike or perhaps dotted along the course to cheer you on. This might be the only race that you win anyway. Ultimately as well, think about recording it so that you have something to remember all of your hard work by. Use Strava or Garmin Connect, and then maybe even have the chance to sign up for a virtual medal after the fact.
Just be careful with this option though, because it does mean that you're not going to have the facilities available to you along the route that you would if you were doing a proper race. So you're not going to have aid stations, you won't have first aiders, and there won't be portaloos. But you've managed without all of these things already in your long run, so there's no reason why you can't manage them that little bit further on race day. Also, you could look to stash your gels or an energy drink or some water somewhere along the route before you go, or grab those friends and family that you've enlisted to be your own personal aid station. Find a smaller race of the same distance. If there's still time and space for you to sign up, then smaller races are more likely to be going ahead at this point. And we've linked in the description to some race finding websites to help you with that.
Yeah, but do bear in mind that if it is a smaller event, then that big crowd that you're expecting on race day, that might have been the one thing that you were thinking was going to get you through, that's probably not going to be there. It'll be a very different atmosphere, so perhaps take that into account. Also bear in mind there's going to be uncertainty at all sizes of races, because they may also fall prey to postponement or cancellation.
If you do end up choosing another race, then there are certain precautions that you can take as a participant of a race where there are going to be thousands of other people there.
you're likely to notice that there'll be more hand sanitising stations around the start area, aid stations and finish area. Use them and make sure you stay up to date with government and health professional advice. And please don't show up to these events if you're feeling unwell.
Volunteers are being briefed to hand out cups at the base rather than at the rim as well, which is the traditional method of being able to pass them over. And there's less likely to be sweets handed out, I'm afraid. So no sweets at cheer stations and aid stations, that kind of thing. So really, you need to make sure that you are thinking about how to be more self-sufficient if you are going to be racing during these times where racers are trying to minimise the hand-to-mouth contact.
Perhaps you're okay with not racing at all and you're more than happy to wait until the postponed date of your big target race. But you might have found that whilst you've been training for this marathon, you've noticed some various niggles and aches and pains. So now could be the perfect time for you to look at addressing them, finding out what's causing them, and perhaps investing some time in correcting them. So think about things like cross-training and strength and conditioning.
Runners often tend to sweep little niggles or maybe even minor injuries under the rug, grit their teeth and get on with it when they've got an A-goal race in mind. But now that you've maybe bought yourself a little bit of extra time, it's really worth looking at where these niggles are coming from. So perhaps go see someone like a physio who can help you work on the areas that you need to strengthen in order to come back stronger for your postponed date. You can also spend this time really drilling down and focusing on your running form and efficiency. So have a go at throwing in lots of running drills to your routine to help with that one. And for an idea of where to start, check out our video on the running channel. In the grand scheme of things, it's really important to not lose sight of the real reason behind why these races are being cancelled and postponed. Ultimately, it's for your own protection and for the protection of other people around you. And you will move on from this and you'll realise that this isn't wasted training on the race day that never happened. In fact, there are plenty of strengths that you can take from the training that you've already done. And even being able to adapt your training and reset ready for the next time that you are able to race, well, these are strengths that shouldn't be dismissed either.
And we know it can be hard to take because you put so much time, effort, mileage and ultimately probably money into what is your big race attempt of the year, but we just don't know what's around the corner and running at the moment. So please be flexible, be aware that there's fairly likely to be more cancellations in the coming weeks and months, and we would challenge you to stay positive and not fall into the trap of negativity, which ultimately will ruin your enjoyment of running.
Hopefully we've been able to give you some ideas of what to do if you've fallen victim to a race cancellation or postponement. Let us know in the comments below what your plan B or plan C is and if you've been affected by race cancellations or postponements, and we will see you next time on the Running Channel.